Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Ted Purchase, owner of Bold Lens Photography. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is actually my first video, and on this video we're going to be discussing this lens right here, the Venus Optics Laowa 7.5 f2 Dreamer lens. And just tell you a little bit about this channel. You know, one of the things that I want to do is try and look at things in a different light and maybe kind of look at some gear, some software that you don't really see a lot on YouTube. But just today, to start off, we're going to be checking this bad boy out. Let's go ahead and take a closer look. Okay guys, let's go ahead and just take a look at the build on this really quick. One thing that's a little annoying is this hood right here. If the cap's on, this thing will not come off. You have to take that cap off first, otherwise you cannot get the hood on and off, which is metal, by the way. Very strong too. Very nice build, as well as the rest of this lens. Pretty much all metal, solid all the way throughout. Very light, even though it's metal, and very, very small, nice and compact. Just look at it compared to this Sigma 30mm 1.4 that I have right over here. The aperture is the clicking type, so it's not super smooth, which some of the video guys like. This doesn't have that. No weather sealing, unfortunately. Another weird thing is that this red dot right here, usually those are on the side so you can see where to line up your lens at when you mount it on the camera. I don't know why they put it there, but not a huge deal. The focusing ring on this is superb. Very solid, very smooth. Absolutely one of the best that I've ever seen. What's nice about these lenses is that usually you just stick them at infinity, stop them down unless you're in low light, and just everything from, you know, just a couple feet away to the moon is going to be in perfect focus. Really easy to use that way. Has a filter thread on it, which is nice, although it does have really bad vignetting, so sometimes a filter can just make it a lot worse, which is unfortunate. 7.5 millimeters, so you double that. 15 millimeters is what it's going to be like, you know, if you're used to a full frame, or a 10 millimeter on a crop sensor camera. F2, which is going to make it awesome for low light. It's going to make it awesome for astrophotography, for events, for weddings. You could just take this with you, put it in your pocket if you feel like it, and just in case you need it, you have an ultra wide everywhere you go, which is awesome. Obviously fantastic for travel. Fantastic if you have a drone that you can put this thing on, which is really cool, or if you ever plan on getting one, like if you're into real estate photography like I am, which is what I mostly use this for. Works great for that. The only issues that I do have with this optically, and I'll go over those when we check the photos out, is the vignetting, like I said, and then the flare. It does have a really bad issue with flare, which is unfortunate, but other than those two issues and the little minor things that I showed you, this lens is near perfect. It's only $500, which is a really good price. And overall, I've just been absolutely blown away by the quality of this lens. I love how small, compact it is, how convenient it is. But let's go ahead, and now that we checked out the build of the lens, I'm going to go ahead, pop on the computer, and we will be checking out the pictures that I've been taking with it lately. Okay guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the pictures real quick that I've been taking recently with this. So the first ones I'm going to show you, they're actually straight out of camera. And I'm just kind of showing you the vignetting on this. You can see it's pretty strong. It's stronger than most lenses that I've used, most ultra wides at least. And when we go to the next one here, this one is straight out of camera, but I fixed it in Capture One by putting a value of 30 on the lens correction for this. So you could just see going in between the two what a huge difference there is. So it's an unfortunate thing because when you put ND filters, like I did a 10-stop ND filters and I was trying to do long exposures, and the corners were just crazy dark just from a cheap screw-on filter that I bought as an ice filter. So a higher quality one may give you better results, especially if it's a big you know, like 100mm by 100mm plate. That will work just fine without adding any to the vignetting on there. But just wanted to go ahead and show you guys that. The second issue, the major issue with this, is the flare. You can see here in the corner, when you got that sun in the frame, you're going to get a big old fireball looking thing. Usually it's not too bad if there's cloud coverage, but it was just a little bit too light with the clouds. It was shining through pretty hard, and I was getting a flare when I was trying to do landscapes, just as this little farm area right here. This is one kind of cool thing, is that this is at the very closest focusing distance. You can see here it's really nice and close, and so you can do some really cool artistic things with this, you know, wide angle macros like this picture. So just something to keep in mind. Kind of a nice cool thing about this lens that you normally don't get on an ultra wide. Going over here to the this is a house that I shot the other day, just showing you that you know, it's fantastic for real estate. Nice straight lines. It is a rectilinear lens, not a fisheye, as you saw from the straight out of camera ones, and just with a little bit of corrections, what little distortion you have comes out real easily in Capture One or Lightroom or whatever you're using. But yeah, it's just been absolutely beautiful for real estate. The detail, the sharpness of this lens is fantastic. You can see center of the frame razor sharp at f5.6. You go out a little bit, and it's a little soft on the corners, but not too bad, and that's pretty common on these lenses. So overall, the sharpness has been incredible on this lens, as well as the contrast if you're outdoors. Sometimes cheaper lenses, they start to look washed out in bright lights. This looks clean, clear, gorgeous when you're outside shooting landscapes or doing exteriors of real estate like this. Just another picture that I took recently. As far as stopping this lens down further or coming up, you know, at f2 it's definitely usable. That vignetting is even stronger than it was on the one that I showed you, which was at f5.6. The flare gets a lot worse. So at f2 it's something you really only want to use when you're indoors, and it's still pretty good as far as sharpness goes. It's not too much worse. You can definitely notice it, but it's not a huge deal. Now 5.6 is about where you're the maximum sharpness across the frame, so anytime you're doing landscapes or you're doing houses, just keep it at 5.6. Everything, as you can see here, from just a couple feet away should be in nice sharp focus. Now if you want to go down a little bit further, f8, f11 aren't too bad at all. Definitely diffraction starts setting in. It's a little bit you know, softer. You only go there you really need to, and then anything past f11 it starts to get pretty ugly. So I wouldn't go past that unless you really absolutely had to. But if you got to stop down or stop up a little bit, overall it's not too bad, but just keep it at 5.6 whenever you can. This is just a couple more houses that I shot with it. For real estate, it's been fantastic. Usually, you know, the flare isn't a big issue. There's certain ways to get around that. I'll show you that here in a little bit. The vignetting does kind of suck to work with, because sometimes I can't tell if I'm not lighting evenly or if it's just the vignetting of the lens. So overall, if you wanted a more hardcore professional lens, you'd probably be better off with something like the Olympus 7-14. But it's not going to be as portable. It's going to be twice the price, not as fast, so it's not going to be as good for astrophotography. For low light, it's still a 2.8, which is really nice. The zoom's nice on that, but you know, you're also paying double. This is really cheap, and you're getting a fantastic lens. Has some advantages over the Olympus and Panasonic ultra wide angles, and it has some disadvantages over them. Just going to here, a couple landscapes that I did recently. So this one was actually a 40 shots that I merged in Photoshop to simulate an ND filter effect. And I did that because my ND filters had such bad vignetting. It was just really hard. You know, it just did not look good at all. So I actually kind of like doing this method a little bit more, so it's not a huge deal for me. And if you wanted to, just get like a square filter, and that would fix that vignetting issue that you have. And here's another one. I just wanted to show you guys this, because one way you can get around the flare is because it's red, and usually you don't have a lot of red stuff in the frame. You can usually just lower your red in HSLs, and it will make it to where it's, you know, non-colored like this right here. And it actually looks kind of cool, and it's less obvious. I did this on another one where I shot some bleachers for a stadium that was going to be for a
That one was going to be, just for a local county fairgrounds, and I had some flare, but I was actually able to turn the reds down and the turn like silver like this, and that blended in with the silver colors on the bleachers. And here's a couple examples of how you can get around the flare. One is just to crop the bottom up like I did in this. Sometimes you can adjust it and get it just right to where that flare is pretty far down on the bottom, and you can just crop up and get rid of it. And on this one, what I did is I actually just put my finger over the sun, and then I just removed that in Lightroom using spot removal. And you can see kind of where this bright area, that's where the sun used to be. So that's a little trick to get around it. So usually if you have to, it's not too hard to get around that, as long as you got clear sky or something like that. Not that big of a deal. But anyways, yeah, this lens has been absolutely fantastic. I would definitely suggest looking at it. If you need something more hardcore, serious, professional, where you just can't deal with that flare, that vignetting, probably, I haven't used them yet, but I've heard the Olympus 7-14 and the Panasonic 8-18, I believe it is, that those are both also good options. Anyways, guys, that's all I really got to say about this lens. Not a bad pickup. Hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, enable notification, and comment down below. If you'd like to support this channel so I can make future content, check out my website, boldlensphotography.com, where I sell fine art prints. You can also donate money at patreon.com/boldlensphotography. And I'll have links below to all my social media accounts. And hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.